San Francisco, a city renowned for its beauty and innovation, is grappling with a stark reality. Homelessness casts a shadow over its vibrant streets, a constant reminder of the deep societal challenges that persist. The statistics paint a grim picture. Despite efforts to combat the crisis, the number of individuals experiencing homelessness remains stubbornly high. Tents line the sidewalks, a visible manifestation of the shortage of affordable housing and the complex factors driving people onto the streets. The issue extends beyond mere numbers. Each individual has a story, a unique set of circumstances that led them to this point. Mental health struggles, addiction, and economic hardship converge, creating a perfect storm that can be difficult to escape. The lack of affordable housing in one of the most expensive cities in the world exacerbates the problem, leaving many with nowhere to turn. The sight of people living on the streets has become sadly commonplace for San Franciscans. The crisis is impossible to ignore, a constant reminder of the city's struggle to address this complex issue. While San Francisco boasts a robust network of non-profit organizations working tirelessly to provide support, the scale of the problem demands a comprehensive and multifaceted approach. The issue of homelessness in San Francisco is often intertwined with concerns about public safety. The shooting at 833 Bryant Street, a supportive housing complex, brought this issue into sharp focus. A social worker, dedicated to helping residents rebuild their lives, became the victim of a senseless act of violence. This tragedy sent shockwaves through the community, raising questions about the safety of both residents and those who work tirelessly to support them. The incident at 833 Bryant Street was not an isolated event. Reports of violence and drug-related activity in and around supportive housing facilities have been on the rise, fueling public anxiety. The use of ghost guns, untraceable firearms often assembled at home, adds another layer of complexity to the issue. The ready availability of these weapons poses a significant challenge to law enforcement and underscores the need for comprehensive gun control measures. The shooting at 833 Bryant Street served as a stark reminder of the vulnerability of those living and working on the front lines of the homelessness crisis. It also highlighted the urgent need for increased security measures and mental health support within supportive housing facilities. The incident sparked a citywide conversation about the root causes of violence and the need for a more holistic approach to addressing the complex challenges faced by those experiencing homelessness. The city of San Francisco has grappled with the issue of homelessness for decades, implementing a range of policies and programs aimed at providing support and reducing the number of individuals living on the streets. The city's approach has evolved over time, shifting from a focus on emergency shelters to a more comprehensive strategy that includes supportive housing, mental health services, and addiction treatment. One of the cornerstones of San Francisco's current strategy is the provision of supportive housing units, which combine affordable housing with on-site support services. These services may include case management, mental health counseling, substance abuse treatment, and job training. The goal of supportive housing is to provide individuals with the tools they need to stabilize their lives and transition out of homelessness permanently. Despite these efforts, significant challenges remain. The demand for supportive housing far outstrips supply, resulting in long waiting lists and leaving many individuals without stable housing. Funding for these programs is also a constant concern, with city officials facing difficult budget decisions amidst competing priorities. The effectiveness of existing programs is also subject to debate, with some critics arguing for a greater focus on mental health and addiction treatment, as opposed to simply providing housing. The issue of homelessness in San Francisco has become increasingly politicized, with residents expressing growing frustration and demanding action from elected officials. The sight of tents lining the sidewalks, open drug use, and public safety concerns have fueled a sense of urgency and a desire for tangible solutions. Public opinion on the best course of action is divided, with some advocating for more compassionate approaches and others calling for stricter enforcement measures. The debate over homelessness has played out in City Hall, with elected officials facing pressure to address the crisis. Mayor Daniel Lurie has made tackling homelessness a top priority of his administration, pledging to add thousands of new shelter beds and expand access to mental health and addiction treatment services. However, these efforts have been met with mixed reactions, with some praising the mayor's commitment while others criticize the pace of progress and the effectiveness of certain initiatives. The political discourse surrounding homelessness in San Francisco reflects a broader national debate about how best to address this complex issue. The tension between compassion and enforcement, between providing support and maintaining public order, is at the heart of this debate. Finding a balanced and effective approach that addresses the needs of both those experiencing homelessness and the wider community remains a significant challenge. Section 5. Fremont's Hardline, a case study in strict enforcement. Across the bay from San Francisco, the city of Fremont has taken a markedly different approach to addressing homelessness. In February 2025, Fremont enacted a controversial ordinance that criminalizes encampments and prohibits individuals from assisting those living on the streets. This ordinance, which carries penalties of up to 6 months in jail and hefty fines, has been met with both support and condemnation. Proponents of the ordinance argue that it is necessary to address public safety concerns and restore order to public spaces. They contend that the presence of encampments deters residents from visiting parks and businesses, contributing to a decline in quality of life. By criminalizing encampments, they believe the city can compel individuals to seek shelter and access services. Opponents of the ordinance, including homeless advocates and civil rights groups, argue that it is inhumane and counterproductive. They contend that criminalizing homelessness does nothing to address the root causes of the problem and only serves to further marginalize an already vulnerable population. They also raise concerns about the constitutionality of the ordinance, arguing that it violates the rights of both those experiencing homelessness and those who seek to help them. Section 6. Collateral damage, the unseen costs of punitive measures. The implementation of Fremont's strict homelessness ordinance has had far-reaching consequences, extending beyond the individuals directly targeted by the law. Advocates for domestic violence survivors have raised alarm bells, warning that the ordinance could force victims to choose between staying with their abusers or facing criminal charges for sleeping outdoors. This unintended consequence highlights the need for policymakers to consider the potential impact of such laws on vulnerable populations. The ordinance has also strained relationships between Fremont and neighboring cities. With encampments being cleared within Fremont's city limits, there are concerns that individuals experiencing homelessness will simply be displaced to neighboring communities, exacerbating the problem elsewhere. This highlights the need for regional collaboration and a coordinated approach to addressing homelessness, rather than simply shifting the problem from one location to another. The Fremont ordinance has also sparked a legal battle, with civil rights groups filing a lawsuit challenging its constitutionality. The lawsuit argues that the ordinance violates the Eighth Amendment's prohibition against cruel and unusual punishment by criminalizing individuals for sleeping outdoors when they have no other options. The outcome of this legal challenge could have significant implications for other cities considering similar measures. Section 7. A Tale of Two Cities, Contrasting Approaches to Homelessness. The contrasting approaches of San Francisco and Fremont to addressing homelessness highlight the complex and often contentious debate surrounding this issue. San Francisco, with its focus on supportive housing and social services, exemplifies a more compassionate approach, seeking to address the root causes of homelessness and provide individuals with the support they need to rebuild their lives. Fremont, on the other hand, has adopted a more punitive approach, prioritizing enforcement and seeking to deter individuals from living on the streets. While both cities share the goal of reducing homelessness, their chosen methods reflect differing philosophies and priorities. San Francisco's approach is often characterized as housing first, a model that prioritizes providing individuals with stable housing without requiring them to first address underlying issues such as addiction or mental health challenges. Proponents of this approach argue that housing is a fundamental human right, and that providing stable housing is essential for individuals to begin addressing other aspects of their lives. Fremont's approach, in contrast, reflects a belief that individuals experiencing homelessness must first demonstrate a willingness to comply with societal norms and access services before being provided with assistance. This approach often involves strict enforcement of anti-camping ordinances and the use of law enforcement to discourage individuals from living on the streets. Proponents of this approach argue that it is necessary to maintain public order and encourage individuals to take responsibility for their own lives. Section 8. Finding common ground towards a more humane approach. The ongoing debate over homelessness in the Bay Area and beyond highlights the need for a more nuanced and compassionate approach, one that recognizes the complexity of the issue and prioritizes the dignity and humanity of those experiencing homelessness. While there is no easy solution, there are a number of steps that policymakers, advocates, and community members can take to address this challenge more effectively. First and foremost, it is essential to address the shortage of affordable housing, which lies at the heart of the homelessness crisis. This requires a multi-pronged approach that includes increasing the supply of affordable housing units, providing rental assistance to low-income individuals and families, and implementing policies that prevent displacement and eviction. In addition to addressing the housing crisis, it is crucial to expand access to mental health and addiction treatment services. Many individuals experiencing homelessness struggle with these issues, which can be both a cause and a consequence of living on the streets. By providing timely and accessible treatment, we can help individuals address these challenges and begin the process of rebuilding their lives. Section 9. A shared responsibility, hope for a brighter future. The challenge of addressing homelessness is not insurmountable. By working together, we can create a more just and compassionate society where everyone has a safe and stable place to call home. This requires a collective effort, with individuals, communities, and government agencies all playing a role. Individuals can make a difference by volunteering their time or donating to organizations that provide support to those experiencing homelessness. They can also educate themselves about the issue and advocate for policies that promote affordable housing, mental health care, and addiction treatment. Communities can play a role by supporting the development of affordable housing and welcoming those experiencing homelessness into their midst. They can also work to reduce the stigma surrounding homelessness and create a more inclusive and supportive environment for all members of society. Government agencies at all levels have a responsibility to address the systemic factors that contribute to homelessness, such as poverty, lack of affordable housing, and inadequate access to health care. This includes investing in affordable housing, expanding access to mental health and addiction treatment, and enacting policies that promote economic opportunity and social mobility.